stat is damn good.
It really is. Hello, how's it going? Welcome back to the Eldercasts. Todd Howard makes it. We talk about it. I'm Damien.
Damn, play it.
And we play it.
Because we love our Elder Scrolls. We can't get enough. Yeah.
It's a great game. Great game series. But look, if I'm being completely honest, we had a load of fun making the last episode. So we're gonna dive back in. We're gonna dive back in head first
and talk about some new topics that have been in our mind.
So
that in Skyrim has left us with questions.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Left us with them.
Honestly,
left a great impression on us.
What was the topic of the last Eldercasts?
The Civil War.
The Civil War of Skyrim.
Again, that is a great topic.
Controversial.
Yeah.
There's lots of avenues to explore.
Big part in Skyrim. Big part in the game. Again, today, another topic. Another big part of Skyrim. One of the DLC's main antagonists, main villains, Miraak.
Yeah, so if you look on our channel, you'll see that we have a documentary called A Thank You to the Satisfying Villain. And that is a fantastic piece. It was the first thing we made. And when you look back, it's honestly, I think it complements the start of this
in it you speak upon Miraak in that documentary.
Yeah, around halfway through, we have a little segment on Miraak himself,
which I love.
He's fantastic.
I'm glad that he got credit. You know, it's good to see.
He's one of the multi-category villains on our documentary. Without going into too much detail about the documentary, Miraak would sort of fall under the monster and civilian villain categories, because he was a dragon priest, and like the rest of them, served Alduin, until he discovered that he was Dragonborn.
Yeah.
So, we can only assume that he was good at his role at the time, right? Because like Elder Scrolls does, it doesn't give us the whole thing. It lets you make up your own mind, which I really, really love. Honestly, I think the way I see it, I think he was probably really good at what he did.
Well, yeah, he had the nickname of his name meant Allegiance Guide.
Allegiance Guide,
which I think sounds really quite. He was held in quite high regard, well, they gave him that name for a reason.
He was one of the more powerful ones, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So his name is Allegiance Guide. He was so his history. He was a dragon priest like all the rest of them. He served the dragons with the rest of them. Alduin, in particular, and I think that there were certain things with him that didn't add up, or necessarily make him a good candidate for the dragon cult. But I think what we need to do before we go any further is we need to briefly touch upon Hermaeus Mora, the Daedric prince of forbidden knowledge and fate.
Yes, because again, he definitely plays such a big role, and even in the base game of Skyrim, he definitely has a big role in. You can tell. I don't know if you got the same impression, but he does take an interest in the Dragonborn.
Yes, he loves Dragonborns,
and
he does.
Why do you think? Why do you think?
They're powerful.
Very powerful, and very forces to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And no wonder he shows interest, but again, he's like the power of all knowledge.
Mm-hmm. The gardener of men.
He has so much wisdom, and I guess kind of blinds people with that, especially like Miraak. I feel like he definitely promised him with sweet gifts.
He almost turned Ysgramor into an elf, didn't he?
Yeah. What happened there?
I do apologise if I'm not overly accurate here. I do believe it was in Atmora before they came down to Skyrim, and there was what I believe was it a fox? Was it a rabbit? It was a rabbit.
It's a rabbit and a fox.
I believe it was a rabbit. Yeah, so it was a rabbit that came up to Ysgramor. I'm so sorry if I've gotten this wrong. I am a little bit fuzzy on this, but they came up to him and said, "I will make your I'll help you hunt.
Yeah, I'll
help
make
you
your
be able to
ears
hear
bigger so
Predator.
you'll be able to, yeah.
And Isgramor fell for this. And, yeah, his ears started growing. And then the rabbit was then mauled to death by a fox. So the rabbit was Hermaeus Mora, the fox was... I don't know.
No,
not Akatosh.
Hersing?
No, that's Daedra. Wasn't a Daedra. And so Hermaeus Mora tried to trick Isgramor into becoming an elf. There's a long story about how Hermaeus Mora takes on the form of a hare. Yes, trying to trick Isgramor into wishing that he had longer ears to hear better, just like the hare. So yeah, we were right. So Mora could turn Isgramor into an elf.
God damn.
So it wasn't just Isgramor.
He done it.
If this particular source here is to be believed, he would have turned all the Atmoran Nords into Aldmer. Hermamora, the woodland man, ancient Atmoran demon who, at one time, nearly seduced the Nords into becoming Aldmer. Most Isgramor myths are about escaping the wiles of old Hermamora, also called the Demon of Knowledge.
Wow.
He's vaguely related to the cult origins of the Morag Tong, the Foresters Guild. If only by association with his brother/sister, Mephala. I always took it as a metaphor, a reflection on the anti-intellectualism of the Nords. All magic and fancy book learning will turn us into elves, and so on. Right, so it may not have even happened. But yeah. But it's a great story, and it really does.
Allegory.
It really does highlight the Hermamora.
And again,
stuff.
I think it just shows how he just loves to meddle with things that just don't concern him. He just loves to have a little hand in the pie. He just can't help himself, but just try and control. And he is, I think, honestly, out of all the Daedra gods, probably the one I would least likely want to meet.
Really?
I don't know, man, because I feel like
I get it.
he could probably.
For me, it's Molag Bal.
Yeah, because again, I don't think it can really get much worse than him.
No, it doesn't.
Hermaeus Mora, I think the thing that I find so scary with Hermaeus Mora is just this realm, just the fact he just keeps you alive, or just keeps you almost for his entertainment, just for his pleasure. He's a very I don't know.
He wants to know what happens before and what happens after. He's very rigid, and I wouldn't say he's necessarily evil. I wouldn't. I'd say he's ruthless and will stop at nothing to get what he wants, which is to know everything. Everything, you know? And that is why he and Vermina are complete opposites, because Vermina is all about interpretation. You know? Her realm itself shifts upon itself. It changes. You know, it's you go to the quagmire and it changes. And it shifts upon something. Let's say your worst fear.
It's got a cooler name though, so.
It does. It has a very cool name. So yeah, that's why they're eternal enemies, because they are the opposite of each other. So, seeing as Hermaeus Mora has access to all things knowledge that he shouldn't have, you could only assume that he was the one who told Miraak that he was Dragonborn.
Yeah, well, from what I know as well, he bestowed.
It's entirely possible, and probably the most logical conclusion as to how Miraak found out.
Helped him uncover his power. You know, helped him realise what he could do. Showed him the way of the Thum.
Yeah. And Saint Alessia, the Slave Queen, is the first recorded Dragonborn in history. And so she gets all of the credit from the scholars. She also created the Amulet of Kings, which is cool. But yeah, no, she is the first.
I think I've heard that.
First Dragonborn, because she's the one that the scholars mention. You know, but Miraak is the first. in history, the first, just not in recorded history. Miraak was born as the first Dragonborn, but he went unrecorded because the Dragon Cult removed him from history, completely wiped his name from everything because of his betrayal.
Yeah,
which we will get to.
What was his
Just everything about him was removed.
He was called like the traitor. Or...
The traitor, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The story, the Guardian and the traitor.
Yeah.
So, Miraak, at some point during this buffer period between finding out he was Dragonborn and then rebelling, he learned the Bend Will shout from Hermaeus Mora. The twisted shout. They can control the minds of anyone who it's directed at. Even dragons at its highest power.
It's insane.
Hermaeus Mora taught him that.
And just the fact, just his thirst for knowledge. He really does believe that he could get out of there. If he gets enough knowledge or power from that.
We are getting ahead of ourselves.
Sorry. But I don't know, because he really does think he's on top.
Yeah, he thinks he can be on top.
But again, you can kind of understand why, because he is a very powerful person. He has been alive for over 4,000 years at this point.
Yeah.
5,000 years, however long. I'm not entirely sure. And it's just like, and he's still alive, he's still kicking, still getting all his knowledge up. And it's quite crazy how he thinks he got to that position.
Yeah. Think about it. He's a high-ranking dragon priest. He has this really quite messed up power now. You can see why you would think time for an uprising. He's an egomaniac anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, from the start, even before he really knew, the fact he was willing to sell out. Worshipping like the dragon cult, the dragon priests, because he's like, oh yeah, you're Dragonborn now. And he's just like, oh hey ho, I think I'm gonna start a.
That's just it.
I think I'm gonna turn around and just be like, hey ho, I think I'll be the man in charge.
Yeah.
And
there's no documentation of the dragons treating the dragon priests with any sort of kindness. There's nothing about that. More respect than the average person for sure, maybe, but I'm sure they were cruel to the priests. Some
you can't. Well, the priests were like basically like servants, weren't they?
Yes. So my understanding of it is that
they serve the dragons.
So the dragons see themselves as above men. Above men that they shouldn't be speaking to the crawling masses, as they say.
They wouldn't even speak to, the people of the
Skyrim.
Yeah.
So they chose
these special people.
Yeah, they picked up a bunch of guys and said, "You'll be the guys."
Hey, you're the one.
So they ruled men in the dragon's name, dragon priests.
But I think I don't know what made the dragon priest special. I think it was the dragons kind of gave these priests.
They could shout, couldn't they?
Yeah, they taught them the ability to shout and.
Could they shout?
I don't know if it was shouting or just like gave them kind of their power per se.
I don't think I ever remember a dragon priest shouting at me.
I don't know. Maybe
Miraak.
Have a little.
I don't know. I don't think they did know how to shout. Actually, they had magic, terrible magic.
Give a little look up. Terrible magic.
Yeah, terrible as in like dreadful magic. Yeah, so if you want
sometimes they had a couple lightning bolt spells, maybe a frost one to spice it up.
Yeah, you see, the only thing mentioned here is Miraak.
Yeah,
I think Miraak was the only dragon priest who could shout.
Yeah, I didn't know if they gave them shouts per se or just gave them some of their power.
They were just taught magic.
Were more powerful than the most.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely something that made them special over the masses.
Yeah. So who would draw? So what were Draugr then? Were they just?
Draugr was
were they just soldiers? Soldiers for the dragons?
Like dead
Obviously, they were alive at one point,
Yeah.
but they were just soldiers.
Well, I thought, you know, just the people that worship the dragons.
That's probably them.
Yeah.
Right. But they all had armour on.
But that's what I thought, just Nords that worship the dragons, right?
Right.
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 But I don't know.
Oh.
This is all theory.
Miraak, I mean, you know...
No, I'm joking, it's not theory. This is
No,
fact.
no, a lot of it is...
A lot of it is theory, a lot of it's fact.
Yeah.
Depends where you delve in.
You know, Miraak, being the egotistical man he was, you know, wanted to rule in his own image.
Yeah.
You know.
And again, I think that was about the same time Alduin was just like, hey, I'm not going to do what I was made to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was not going to... He was the world eater.
Yeah,
so that meant to bring the end of time.
That's actually the good. That's the good thing that Alduin was meant to do.
I find that so funny.
It's a natural
and I love it. Yeah. So what Alduin was meant to do was eat the world.
Yep.
But basically,
that is the way of things.
He turned around and was like, "Hang on a minute. You know what? I don't want to eat the world. I want to rule the world,
Enslave it."
And yeah, I don't know if that was around the same time. Miraak was just like, I don't know what happened before. To be fair.
What? Before what?
Miraak being like, "Oh, I'm Dragonborn now."
It was at the same time. They were around at the same time.
Yeah, I know, because I know they were around at the same time, but I didn't know if Alduin might have been like first. Hang on a minute, I'm not gonna eat the world. I'm gonna enslave all you.
Yeah, that's long before Miraak. Miraak was even born, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was doing it for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, but and then all these, I forgot what the fella's name was, but he went up to Miraak and was like, "Oh, Miraak, can you help us?"
Yeah,
defeat Alduin.
Hakon won her.
Yep, Hagon won, and his boys, and his
Feldir
boys,
the
and
Old,
his crew,
and Gormlaith Golden
his
Hilt.
many men, and his many men. We're like, hang on, dude, come on. Like, you've got all this power. You can literally save us.
Yep.
And so what did Miraak do?
He said no.
Yeah, he just turned around and was like, nah,
Yep.
I'm not going to help you.
He had killed so many dragons by then and devoured all of their souls.
It was very powerful.
He eventually became a figure that even the dragons feared, let alone men. You know what I mean? So we also know that the Dragon War started while Miraak was walking the earth. We know this.
Yes.
Because he was serving the dragons before the Dragon War even happened.
Yep.
Miraak himself says that Hakon, Feldir and Gormlaith came to him to ask for his aid in defeating Alduin, as he is Dragonborn. He said no! Because he didn't want to be a part of something that wasn't led by him. Ego.
So from the off, even before, the man was enslaved for 4,000 years. He wasn't a great guy.
That's, again, we are getting ahead of ourselves. We need to build up to that.
But again, it's a bit, but at the same time, I want to say, man, it's a weird story. His story goes on for over 4,000 years, but then at the same time, he has a lot about him. But again, so much of it is unknown.
Hey, ready?
What we whipping up?
They wanted to use me to deal with Alduin,
Yeah.
Hakon and the rest. I chose otherwise.
And then
I think that's a dialogue line. If you kill,
it's when you're fighting him. And then you got this as well.
okay.
Felling Alduin was a mighty deed, and I thank you for it. You would have proved troublesome to me.
There you go.
What does that? Well, hang on a minute.
What?
He would have proved troublesome to me.
Yeah.
Is he basically?
He's saying thanks for dealing with Alduin. When I come back, he would have been a problem that I would have had to deal with. He's saying, oh, he would have been a fly, a wasp in my ear that I've had to swat. That would have been annoying for me. Thank you for that. Thanks for dealing with that. Again, it's ego talking. I think if Miraak were given the right tools, he'd be able to destroy Alduin. But
it's not in his interest. It's not in his interest.
It's not in his well, no, I think he's too scared.
I don't.
That's what I think. I think he's a little bit of a coward.
Possibly. In my opinion, I think it's a little bit of that. He is a bit intimidated by this figure.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's not in his interest. Actually, I don't know, because he kills dragons. It's what he loves. He loves it.
He's killed so many dragons.
But then at the same time, his path with Alduin, I don't really cross. He's quite happy, apparently, staying out his way. Do you have any reasons why? Or do you think
Miraak want to avoid Alduin?
Just a little bit. You think just because he's scared?
I think it's fear. Yeah. Because Alduin is terrifying. He's so scary and so powerful.
At the same time, why is he just? If he's quite intimidated by Alduin, he's just going around killing all his boys. He's going around killing all Alduin's boys.
He wasn't in this. I don't believe he was in the same spot Alduin was. Maybe Alduin didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Because we know that Solstheim was originally a part of Skyrim. Seeing where you leave to go to Solstheim, you know that Solstheim was the northeasternmost area of Skyrim.
Yep, it was all a part of it.
So maybe, this was happening in the very corner of Skyrim, away from Alduin. But I don't really buy that Alduin didn't know.
Yeah, no, I feel like he must have known because, he must have known. He was killing hundreds of dragons. He must have known.
And there's no documented fight between Alduin and Miraak, is there?
No. They genuinely...
I don't even think they crossed paths.
Yeah, that's the part that I find quite weird.
But they must have!
And again, I think potentially, Miraak would have, if he wasn't enslaved and he became more powerful, he might have... But again, at the same time, it's almost laziness. It's like laziness and ego. He doesn't care to, because he doesn't care to prove it to himself. He already is almost like, I don't know, because again, like you said, you're touching upon the fact he's like maybe mildly scared.
I think so.
But again, at the same time, it's almost just like,
I think so.
Out of pure insane ego, he's like, I don't need to kill him because he's so sure of himself that he could.
I don't need to. But I think again, it's a look. What's the line? What's the line?
He's a very interesting character.
When we meet him again, we are getting ahead of ourselves here. So let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Not backtrack, just go back to where we were.
What point did you want to touch upon?
So I've got here, it says it's unclear if Alduin being sent forward in time is before or after Miraak's defeat, but Miraak was eventually confronted by Valok, the jailer. He is the Guardian.
He's a cool guy.
In the Guardian and the Traitor.
What's his name? What did you say his name was?
Valok.
Valok.
A very powerful dragon priest. The only dragon priest that didn't have a mask. I don't know why. Maybe they just run out of masks. Yeah, dragons were like, sorry, man.
They ran out of wood, stone.
We don't have any masks for you. So it's, going through their costume box and they've run out.
Oh,
run out of masks
sorry, guy. We ain't got
guy.
any more costumes for you.
He's like, don't worry, dragons, don't worry, I'm alright with that. Right, so they fought, and as I say in the documentary, I say word for word, they fought in a legendary battle of such epic proportions that they tore off an entire chunk of northern Skyrim, creating a huge island that would later become
quite the Mega Chad fight. That was quite
yes,
like
the ultimate.
For it to literally destroy part of a continent? No,
a country.
Country.
Yeah.
Part of a country must have been quite the fight. Must have been really quite.
There are many Reddit threads that say that Miraak is very clearly anime Dragon Ball Z inspired because of the Super Saiyan look.
I've seen a bit about that.
And Elder Scrolls, they're not scared to base things off of things. You know what I mean? Like the Nordic pantheon is very clearly based off of the Norse gods.
And again, a lot of the times in like Elder Scrolls as well, they've got a lot of the things from like different religions.
And there's nothing wrong with inspiring things from other things.
So many different methods of inspiration.
And I think Miraak is very Darth Vader inspired.
Yeah,
I really do.
He's got quite that Darth Vader-y, again, that anime. Not anime per se, but you know, just that you know what I mean.
He is anime inspired.
Yeah,
I really do.
Dragon Ball Z. More like
right.
Just that. But I kind of, because again, it's just that ungodly power.
How powerful do you need to be to actually section off an area of your country? Creating islands. That's how powerful. Miraak fell short in this fight, though. He was defeated by Valok
Yeah, he didn't do so well. He didn't do so
just
well.
before he could be vanquished by him.
So I don't know how the fight actually went, but he lost. But
I'm sure it was a very, very good fight to watch.
But you like to think it was a fairly good fight.
We don't have the budget for it. Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls Bethesda doesn't have the budget for that fight. That's why it happened all the way back then.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, Todd, if you're watching this.
No, we love you, Todd.
I really do. I really do. He was in the chess club. Right, so he was in the chess club. So what I've got here,
Who's laughing now?
honestly, Miraak was confronted by Valok. He split off the entire chunk of northern Skyrim. Just before he could be vanquished by Valok, Hermaeus Mora saved him, trapping Miraak in Apocrypha.
I don't know how. Again, this is where it gets a bit fact or fiction, because it kind of. I think the lines get a bit blurred. Whether, again, I could be wrong. I could be mistaken. There is a lot of Elder Scrolls lore out there. Whether Hermaeus Mora saved Miraak, or whether Miraak managed to get into a black book that he had, that Hermaeus Mora had previously given him. Whether it was Hermaeus Mora plucking him out of the realm.
We know it's the latter. We know that we know that Hermaeus Mora pulled him. Yeah.
He didn't do it himself.
That can happen. It happened in the Elder Scrolls Online trailer for Necrom as well. So we know that that's an established thing that can happen. He can just pull you. If you've already made contact with him, he will just pull you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on how deep you are into your stuff with him. And Miraak had already been deeply communicating with him.
But again, this all big extent. This fight happened anyway. It happened only because they found out Miraak was conversating with Hermaeus Mora, and they weren't too happy with that.
No.
They really weren't. And this is it's what caused it.
Do you think that happened?
What?
Do you think they found out about that?
Yeah.
Really?
100%. Yeah.
I don't know if they did, but that's
No,
cool.
because well, how else would they have been like? Hang on a minute, Miraak. Come on, mate. I don't like your deeds you've been doing. But
I think it's because he rebelled against the dragons, though, right?
Yeah. This was like before. Sorry, I might be going back
Maybe.
a little bit too far, but
So yeah, he spent thousands of years in Apocrypha serving Hermaeus Mora,
considerable amount of time,
being so powerful.
and I love the
All
fact.
this knowledge he's gathering,
I love the fact he.
that forbidden knowledge that Mora collected.
He's strong. He is insane.
Oh, he's so strong.
Not only strong physically, but mentally. The fact he has been alive for 4,000-5,000 years in Apocrypha, stuck with Hermaeus Mora, and the man hasn't lost his mind. We know everybody that reads the Black Book, interacts with the Black Book, is never quite the same.
No.
Really, absolutely messes with your mind. Who's the fella you see on Soul Slime who reads the Black Book? He's got black eyes. You know what I mean. The bald guy, the crazy man. And you see
runs
him,
up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He tells
I
you
think he's
about-
just called Madman.
Yeah.
He's like, the things, the secret things, they're in my head. What's in your head? Things, the secret things. I tried to get them out, but my fingers aren't long enough.
Yeah, that book causes havoc.
There are loads of them.
Yeah.
There are loads of them. There are 6, aren't
And
there?
it's pretty safe to say that probably Miraak has read most of them, or knows what they're about.
Miraak's primary Black Book was Waking Dreams. That's the one that he's in. He's in that one. He's in Waking Dreams.
Tell me more.
The Waking Dreams is the first Black Book you find,
Yeah.
and that's the book that he's in. That's where the summit of Apocrypha is. So the way I see it is that we've all seen Harry Potter, right? There are things in Harry Potter called port keys, which will take you somewhere, like a physical object. You press it, you'll go somewhere specific.
Horcrux.
No, port keys.
What am I thinking of? Horcrux.
Horcruxes are the things that Voldemort put his soul into.
Oh yeah. And
Port key-
That's what Harry destroys.
Yes, port
Yeah.
keys are just like you can enchant an item and make it take you somewhere, and then it will become a port key. Like this glass, for example.
Yeah,
I can enchant this with Madrid, capital of Spain. Put my hand on it, I'll go there.
I love Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic series. But I think the Black Books work as a sort of port key for Apocrypha. So, Waking Dreams is the port key for the summit of Apocrypha.
Yeah, some sort of like not teleportation, but you know, just kind of like
Epistolary acumen, I'm pretty sure it's called.
What is that? That sounds cool.
Is the other black book, is the port key for the main like sort of hub of Hermaeus Mora.
Yeah.
Now, it might not be entirely accurate, but you know what I mean? Yeah, so we know that he was plaguing the minds of Solstime's inhabitants by the time of Skyrim, getting them to build his temple and shrines around the land's sacred stones.
That is a cool thing because I didn't really know too much about
It is power back.
It's very interesting because, again, this is as he's starting to make his presence known.
Again.
He's starting
make
to
his presence known
return.
again.
Yeah, yes. And again, I think Miraak's biggest fear is not being remembered, not being known. And he wants to desperately make his return. And he is trying so unbelievably hard. And at this point, they're rebuilding the shrine in Solstheim.
Yeah, they're building it. Yeah. In his image.
What they call the Allmaker stones.
Yeah, the sacred stones. Yeah.
The sacred stone, the Allmaker stones. And they were used to help balance, I think, all kind of, what is it? Help balance like I don't know, life on Nirn kind of thing.
Here we go. So
it's kind of to help balance all different elements of life.
Yes.
Very important presence, I guess.
So let's have a little look at this here. This is from a thank you to the satisfying villain, and this makes some very good points about what we are talking about here.
I think what Miraak truly fears is being forgotten. He wants to carve his legacy into the world. And for that to work, he can't afford to return and have no one remember his name. And more importantly, fear it. But they do fear it. He has a very ominous and mysterious introduction. Everyone who hears his name seems to quake with fear, and some even begin to feel nauseous. Just have a look at some of this dialogue.
No, wait. Maybe. I don't know how I know that name. I'm not sure. I don't want to talk about this.
It makes him feel uneasy.
By that name. Someone that wanted something. Maybe I'm just confused. I can't be sure.
No, wait. I recognize the name, but I'm not sure why. I don't know. I feel strange just thinking about it. A temple, maybe. Here on the island, something about a temple.
They get this sense of familiarity with him, because he comes to them in their dreams to get them to do his bidding.
And I think in my opinion, it almost just kind of shows how desperate he is.
He is desperate.
Like, he can't
needs
make
it.
a return. He has to get people to do his bidding for him.
Oh yeah, he can't do anything from in there.
Because he's stuck in Apocrypha. And in my opinion as well, I think Hermaeus Mora knows this is all going on. There's no way he can't. Hermaeus Mora has eyes everywhere. There is no way Hermaeus Mora doesn't know that Miraak is trying to make a return. And all the more reason why I think Hermaeus Mora has his eyes on the last Dragonborn.
Yeah.
You know, because I think Hermaeus Mora has been plotting this. Has been
Yeah, it's his
Hermaeus
Darth Vader,
Mora,
Luke Skywalker situation, isn't it?
And to be fair, another reason why I think Hermaeus Mora is the most scariest Daedric prince is because of how flipping smart he is. He is so unbelievably smart. And you do not want to mess with him.
No. No, he's clever. So, we know that the Dragonborn eventually travels to Solstheim after a failed assassination attempt on him. He investigates, he meets Freya at the Temple of Miraak after Neloth directs him there. He meets Miraak after reading the Waking Dreams book, Black Book. Miraak would then comment on the Dragonborn's status, so let's have a little look. Let's watch a little video on it.
Which is interesting because Miraak as well has such an interest in the Dragonborn, which again I think just shows his ego. Because when he's pitched against another dragon, one of the most powerful dragons, Alduin, doesn't really care.
He makes comments here about the Dragonborns, depending on how many dragons you've killed. He
will say different
things to you.
I quite like, which is quite neat.
So let's have a little look here. This is the first time you're meeting him.
Comes soon when... What? Who are you to dare set foot here? Ah, you are Dragonborn.
You take one look at him and you realise he's a different threat. If you've killed few dragons,
You have done little beyond killing a few dragons. And yet,
if you've killed enough,
you have defeated dragons, yes. But still. And yet,
many.
you have slain a great many dragons, I see. And yes,
It's very cool.
and yet,
And if you killed Alduin,
so you have slain Alduin. Well done. I could have slain him myself back when I walked the earth. But I chose a different path. You have no idea of the true power a Dragonborn can wield.
and he then demonstrates his foreboding dragon aspect shouts.
But that's the thing I find quite funny. He's bragging about how much power, or like the power you don't know you have. But it's like, how do you even know, mate? You've been trapped in Apocrypha for the last 4,000 years.
He does have some good power.
You can't do anything. But he's so insanely powerful.
Yeah, he is.
But powerless.
His hands are tied.
Completely powerless. Which I find, again, so poetic in the Elder Scrolls universe. It loves that kind of double entendre, that symmetry, that balance between just that so close but so far away.
And then he flies away on Saratar, his dragon, his blue dragon,
Yeah.
which is cool to see. I always thought
Just as
that
a
was great.
flex. That's just a flex.
I remember being so young, playing this game, playing this DLC, and thinking, he's riding that thing. I just spent years, fighting these dragons, avoiding them. This guy's riding one.
I just want to say one thing. Arguably, one of the coolest minor features they added in that game.
Yeah, and I remember
Because it
loads-
was just like so minor, but oh my god, it was just it was
so
good.
many people were annoyed that you couldn't steer the dragon. But I would always reply with the argument, dragons are sentient in Skyrim, incredibly intelligent, and they're more like your peer. They're not beasts that you ride. Dragons are so smart in the Elder Scrolls. So it's more of a, I'm on your back, let's go to that location. Yes, Thury, we will go to that location. I will take you there now. Not a steering Game of Thrones style.
Yeah, it's like a jet ski, like a sledge.
Like a dragon ski.
Dragon ski, yeah.
Like
as
a
you do.
jet dragon ski.
Jet. Yeah, you can't use them like a dragon ski. They
Seekers-
only work by their own means.
You can't use them as a dragon ski. The Seekers then send you back in the gross way.
Oh, I hate Seekers.
They're so
creepy
gross.
things.
Lots of people say that they are people that were sent to Apocrypha, turned into a gruesome, grotesque sort of being. But Seekers send you back to Solstheim, talk to Freya.
It's gonna shout at you. They just kind of.
It's just like So Seekers send you back to Solstheim. Solstheim, sorry. Speak to Freya. Tell her saw Miraak riding a dragon. She's like, can we kill him? No. But somehow reading this book took me to where he was.
The only way you're really gonna be able to kill Miraak is if Hermaeus Mora lets you.
Yeah, if he gives you the tools necessary.
Which I think is exactly what happens, because I really do think Hermaeus Mora just sets you up for that one quite nicely.
So you then travel with Freya to the Skull Village, you
Yeah.
meet Storn, and then you learn the first word of Bend Will at Sering's Watch. And that's where you kill a dragon. There you take its soul so you can unlock it. You know what I mean? You go back.
I don't know if you've ever done that previously in the game before, but might be a common theme by this point.
So you head back to the Skull Village, and Storm says, please free our skull friends at the Windstone. You can destroy that stone with the Ben will shout, and they will be like, what happened? You know, and go back to the village. It's then that Storm names you Skull Friend of the Skull Friend, and then the mission, the Path of Knowledge, starts. It's then when you go to Tel Mithrin.
Again, I love the quest names of these.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Especially it's just to a T. It's great.
So yeah, you become Skull Friend, and he tells you to go to Neloth. You meet Neloth in Tel Mithrin, which is so cool to see.
Awesome character.
A recurring character from Morrowind.
And again, you don't really see any other characters like him, and I think it's an awesome throwback to like Morrowind.
It was Morrowind, yeah.
To again that kind of, because again you don't get to see Morrowind, you don't get to see anything like that, but you just get this little DLC island.
Yeah, a glimpse of it again.
It's a nice little throwback.
It's without a doubt the most fleshed out country in Tamriel, though, out of all of Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
Morrowind.
But again, I also think, to be fair, probably one of the I think Oblivion might have been the smallest map.
Okay.
Randomly generated maps, right? We know Bethesda have been doing it for a long time, right? They were doing it with Daggerfall and Arena, right?
Yeah.
Right? So goddamn tell me why they decided to do the same thing for Starfield. Tell me, Bethesda.
What are you doing, Todd Howard? Think it through, buddy. Think it through, buddy.
It's a thing of the past.
So, okay, so...
Anyway, we're going to chuck that out the window. We're going to get rid of that.
Neloth said to be one of the eldest and most respected members of House Telvanni, and a leading expert on Heartstones. He lives in the main tower of Tel Mithrin with his apprentice Talbus Fatheron.
Awesome ass little design. It's a tree house, is it? No.
No, it's a mushroom.
Mushroom.
It's a fungus.
Oh, again, why would I say that? We're not in like Valenwood.
No.
We're in the place with the mushrooms. We're in the place of Morrowind.
So when you and Neloth finish that tedious quest with the control cubes in the Chardak, you get access.
That's a classic Skyrim quest, that one.
The player is to open the Epistolary Acumen Black Book and you speak to Mora yourself. See, it's where you gain the second word. You agree to get Storm to tell Mora the secrets of the skull, which Neloth shrugs off as a silly thing, a bargain to you. One of his lines is, Hermaeus Mora learns some fascinating new ways to skin a hawker, and you become the second most powerful Dragonborn that ever lived.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
It's a right bargain for the player. That's what Neloth likes to say, but it's folklore. That's what's being kept from Mora, not how to skin a walrus. So Storm ultimately agrees and takes the book. Hermaeus Mora kills him and extracts the information from him. Then this is where you learn the final word of Ben Will, enough to challenge Miraak. You then enter waking dreams and go after him. It's foreboding.
Yeah, and again, it's Hermaeus Mora just making everybody his pawn, especially in the Dragonborn DLC. Yes. I think it really shows, because I honestly think when you boil it down to it, even with Miraak, the Dragonborn, the person who has most hand in anything is Hermaeus Mora.
Yeah.
And it's quite scary because you don't really see any other Daedric prince in the game. Well, apart from if you go back to like Shivan Isles, in Oblivion.
I like to see Hermaeus Mora as a sort of investor.
Yeah.
A billionaire investor.
Yeah,
that has
it's
stakes
exactly
in
like
everything.
that. But then it's quite funny because he just sets up these obstacles, sets up this course that just ends up following. And it's just, he knows what he's doing. He is so unbelievably smart. And I think that's why it makes one of the scariest Daedric princes.
He's also a betting man. you know.
Yeah, and I bet he doesn't make the wrong bets.
Neloth said that he reckons he turned on Miraak when you looked like the winning bet.
Exactly. No, I bet he was like, hang on a minute, but because I think again, canon-wise, we know that your character defeats Alduin.
Yes.
Does the
Dawn Guard missions, destroys Harkon,
killed bunch of dragons, killed the mother flipping dragon, Alduin.
Yes.
Right? And then he is going to kill
Miraak.
Yeah. And he's killed the Lord Harkon.
But I don't even think
because if you think about it canon-wise,
the Dragonborn was strong enough to defeat Miraak. It's Hermaeus Mora that finished him. Sure, the Dragonborn probably weakened him.
That is interesting.
I don't think he was strong enough. Hermaeus Mora gave Miraak 4,000 years of knowledge and power.
Yeah, but think about it, like, originally. Think of how powerful...
Dragonborn ain't how old is he, eh?
No, exactly. But think about Miraak at that age. Think about Miraak the same age as Dragonborn. Yeah. Think of how far along Dragonborn has come. He's progressed more than Miraak did.
Yeah, Miraak. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think this is the bit that confuses me the most. Was I think Hermaeus Mora chose Miraak because he was already corrupt. He was already willing to go down that route. Whereas the Dragonborn has been caught up in this.
He chose the Dragonborn because he had now started to be corrupted.
Is that what you think?
Mabes?
Which is the most plausible to me anyway. Which makes the most sense to me because I don't see how else it could. Because I think when he started reading the Black Books is when he started going a bit whoa,
bit loopy,
bit doolally.
Okay.
But then at the same time, you don't see it in game. But again, why would you? Because again, it's you're playing the game. There's got to be something's got to give. You can't just. Again, that's what makes Skyrim. That's what makes Elder Scrolls games so good. The freedom. There is things which
a lot of modern games are losing.
Yeah, which there is.
It's just an extension of cinema nowadays.
Yeah, there is things that are canon in Skyrim. But again, it lets you have the freedom to explore, to get the most out of the province, the realm, the story, the characters.
Yeah, and what's a game without that? I mean, you need you need that.
Yeah. But I do think it's a weird one, and I really, really do want to know where they're going to go from here, because they could definitely go down a lot of different routes. And I love that.
That's perfect, because that brings us to our next section. Are you ready to move on?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so we know that Mora kills Miraak. When Miraak dies, he burns to cinders in an incredible display.
It is it's an awesome death scene.
Miraak's last words are haunting.
Yes, it definitely stays with him. You can imagine being a Dragonborn as well. He's the only other Dragonborn you meet.
You know what, actually, sorry, before we go to Miraak's last words, I want to listen to these... no doubt, it's a rare thing that well, I'm sure lots of people would do the sneak option when it comes to fighting. But when it comes to fighting Miraak, a lot of people don't really consider doing it. They don't really consider doing it. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'd go sneaking around on the summit of Apocrypha, but you can. And Miraak has some cool lines. I'm not going to dwell on this for too much, but I just think it's really cool.
No, I think we should definitely do some of the good ones.
Look here, look, when you
sure
hide...
I haven't heard all of them as well.
Look where you... he says things like this.
Hiding is beneath you, Dragonborn.
What else we got?
It's too late for regrets, Dragonborn.
Is this what he says in the last fight?
Yeah. And then when you come out of sneaking and he finds you again, he says,
now we can finish this. Your death will not be that painless.
And when you jump off of his tower, you actually get called right back, and he will say things like this.
You cannot flee me, Dragonborn. I can call you back to my tower as often as I like.
It's so cool. He also, when you hide from him, he turns his attention to his dragon, and says things like this.
So easily you betray me after all these years. I always knew you were weak-minded, Sarotar.
It's just very cool. Anyway,
When again, it all just builds up more of understanding of
I am master of my own fate.
the type of guy Miraak is.
That you had died so that I could win my freedom.
And
Hermaeus Mora is laughing at us, you know.
So when he dies,
again, hearing that last line of dialogue really makes me want to think of what Miraak thinks of Hermaeus Mora.
so when he dies, he hates him clearly.
But again, at the same
Miraak-
time,
Yeah.
very clearly, Miraak knows way more on Hermaeus Mora than the player character does.
I think than anyone.
Again, 4,000 years, over 4,000 years he's spent with that guy. So he knows exactly what kind of person he is. He knows what he's in for. And I love the fact he doesn't... He says things like that. He says things like Hermaeus Mora is laughing at us, you know. But then... Oh, it's just so poetic. Because he doesn't elaborate on...
When he's already had all that, yeah.
Yeah, because he knows he's trapped there. Surely he knows he can't get out. But it's just, I think he's just so
He doesn't know
desperate.
that. He doesn't know that. He thinks he can. But when he dies, he says these words.
May he be rewarded for his service as I am.
He's saying he wishes the Dragonborn is damned to the same existence as him.
Same fate.
And now, this is what brings us here. Hermaeus Mora then says the words, Miraak harboured fantasies of, rebellion against me. Serve me faithfully. Learn from his example. Serve me faithfully and you will continue to be richly rewarded. It's a threat. He's saying you are to follow Miraak's footsteps, or there will be hell to pay.
Well, I don't...
You're mine now.
Yeah, regardless, he's just basically saying, hey... looks like you've killed that. You killed my last Dragonborn here.
What a shame.
Oh,
I was
you're
fine, I've got another Dragonborn.
Oh, you're Dragonborn. I think I might...
He literally says it. He
Keep
goes, no
it.
matter, I found a new Dragonborn to serve me.
And it makes me... it really makes me wonder what's going to happen to him.
Is the Dragonborn going to be in the same predicament? Is he the new Miraak? What do you think?
So, I think... If you want me thinking of how Bethesda is, me thinking how... Not... I think it's more the case of our Dragonborn, the last Dragonborn, will be trapped in Apocrypha. And I don't think we're going to hear a lot. I think, again, just like Miraak at the start of time, it's a story that is just legend. That's how I feel like it's more going to go.
Will there be a statue made for him?
Well,
Remember we
the
spoke
last
about this one
Dragonborn.
there?
Quite possibly.
Imagine that.
Because
right?
again, think about everyone in the timeline of Elder Scrolls, right?
Yeah, but it would mean having to go back to. It would mean having Solstheim be an area in Elder Scrolls 6, which it will not be. It just won't.
Exactly. They're not. I don't.
But you'll hear about it.
I don't think Miraak. Well, he won't be Dragonborn. I think Hermaeus Mora possibly might be in the next Elder Scrolls game.
Probably a big villain. Yeah.
But I don't think anything about Dragonborn is going to be. You might hear things from like legends from books. I think because again that's how they do it. They always drop it in books, drop it in lore, maybe in a couple lines of dialogue, just a bit of like ancient history or just like words from the past.
Yeah.
Again, you know how like in Alduin's Wall they have like the previous things that were in previous games, things that were in Oblivion, things that were in Morrowind. It's going to have bits of lore dropped throughout the game.
Like sprinkled in.
Yeah, but in my opinion, I think it's just going to be a long lost legacy, a long lost legend, just like lost to the ages. Nobody quite knows what happened to him. Again,
There'll still be a statue to honour his memory.
Yeah, just like how Miraak was just like plucked out of the earth by Hermaeus Mora, kind of like that, like Dragonborn saved Stolstein, defeated Miraak, but then he because again, if you think about flipping Dragonborn, he's been a busy guy. He's been up to a lot of stuff. He has, we've spoken about, he has defeated Lord Harkon. He has defeated Alduin. He has, again, defeated Miraak. He has been a busy boy. He has been, he's been busy. And I think that is kind of his course. He is going to defeat Miraak and then kind of just poof. Probably spend the rest of his days in Apocrypha.
Imagine it. NPCs will say things like, or books will read, the last Dragonborn, he was the saviour. Disappeared one day and so did Miraak.
The last time we saw him was at the shrine in Solstheim, or you know what I mean?
Scar Village.
Yeah, that would be the place.
But the Dragonborn never returned. This statue honours his memory. Yeah. The one who destroyed the World Eater.
Because again, out of everyone in Elder Scrolls, that is a lot of stuff to do.
Yes.
Again, even like the champion of Cyrodiil.
The hero of Kvatch.
Hero Kvatch, that dude. He was a busy guy, and how did he end up?
He went mental.
He went mental. He ended up the Prince of Madness. So, in my opinion, I think Dragonborn is just going to be a long lost legend, and it's going to be sad that he saved everyone. He literally he saved the province.
He did,
and this is how he gets thanked. But then that's what I love about Skyrim. It's just that poeticness. He has been sent to save the realm, and he did. But now
he really did.
This is what he gets. This is his what would you say? His
comeuppance.
Yeah. What we got here?
Just Miraak. Just putting up a picture of Miraak. He's a fantastic villain.
I definitely think one of the best well-written villains in Elder Scrolls, in my opinion?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Without a doubt. Ambiguity doesn't mean bad writing.
Again, if we're going to take a little bit of symmetry, I think even with Oblivion, Miraak feels quite, out of all the villains I've seen in Elder Scrolls games anyway. No, I'd probably say he's more like Dagoth.
Yeah.
But again, he's got that Mankar Cameron kind of just that ego. That
He also took 3 dragon priests.
Yeah.
And called them the Acolyte priests. I think we missed that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Azadol, Dukan, and Zachrisos.
Yeah, those were his right-hand men.
Dragon priests that also rebelled with him.
Yeah. I don't really think a lot happened to them. I think they all...
Azadol was the most powerful one, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think they all died.
Yeah, they all died, yeah. Dragonborn gets to destroy them. That's to say, who's to say those missions are canon or not?
Yeah.
But they're on Solstheim. But yeah.
But I've got to say, I think it's definitely a twisted fate that the Dragonborn ends up with. He does not get a good deal.
Yeah.
And think about it logically. There is no way the last Dragonborn kills the first one and gets away with it. He is in Apocrypha when he does this. He isn't in Skyrim. He isn't in Solstheim.
Yeah,
he
but
is
obviously
in Apocrypha.
It would make for a very boring game if you couldn't leave. So it lets you leave, so you can do other things.
Because again, the game isn't 100%.
It's a game.
Yeah, the game isn't canon. Not everything you do is canon.
No.
Bear that in mind. Like again, joining the Thieves Guild, joining.
I do believe that some of those things are. I do believe that all of those events are canon. It's just not the Dragonborn at the centre of them. So, like for example, when you play those Thieves Guild, those events happened. Mercer betrayed the guild, but the guy experiencing them isn't the Dragonborn. It's
one of them.
You're allowed to play them.
I think it was one of them was canon.
What, College of Winterhold, do you think?
No, one of them. It was either Thieves Guild or Dark Brother. One of them was canon. I don't know if it was done by your character, but one of them was.
In my headcanon, which is a great video that will be eventually be
I think
released.
it might have been Assassin's
headcanon
Dark
video.
Brotherhood. Sorry.
Yes, I made it so with my headcanon I made an actual separate character to play the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood missions, so I could say that they happened in the world, which is cool. In my headcanon, the College of Winterhold is also a thing that the Dragonborn does.
I like to think completely that the College of Winterhold is canon, because again,
those missions start as a result of going to find the Elder Scroll.
Yeah, you literally have to join the College of Winterhold to get further your knowledge on Elder Scrolls. So, because they're like, I remember it always cracks me up whenever they do it. It's like, I want to get in the College of Winterhold, and they're like, okay, why is that? Like, I want to find out these Elder Scrolls. Like, why is that? Like, because I'm Dragonborn. And like, okay.
They let you in when you tell them they're Dragonborn.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
Show me then.
It's like you can't do a spell at this point, especially if you do it early on. All you've got is fire. You can't do anything else. But then like, oh, you're Dragonborn. Yeah, we'll let this guy in. Come on. Like, I just think it's quite funny.
Yeah.
Like you like, no magic, but because you can Fusro Dar, and every time I do it, she's like, okay, show me your Dragonborn. Absolutely Fusro Dar.
Fusro Dar her into oblivion.
She goes flying, and it's just like, oh wow, you really are Dragonborn.
That would go hostile for me. My luck.
No, you can't. Well, unless your game's that buggy.
I think you have to do it next to her, don't you? You don't have to Fusro Dar her. You don't
No, you don't have
her.
to. But I think I've, again, just from playing the game so much, like when like there's like a trigger, and like they ask you to shout, right? If you do Fusro Dar them, they don't get annoyed.
No.
They are just
They
just get up like nothing happens.
the Greybeards don't get annoyed when you do it.
It's like, wow. They just like sideswept that you're Dragonborn. Not that they've just got like
that's his
thrown
death.
30 foot.
Miraak's death there. But yeah,
it's a shame because I really wish there was more on Miraak because he's such a cool character.
yeah, but there doesn't always need to be lots of detail. Sometimes less is more.
Honestly, dude, well said. Well said, because again, it just makes those moments he's on screen all that more special. Because again, he's such an awesome character. No one is quite like him.
No, he really does bring his own.
To be fair, honestly, dude, the only person who I can really think of that's like him that comes to mind is Darth Vader.
Yeah, he's very Darth Vader.
I don't know.
Darth Vader-y.
He is just malicious.
Once a part of an
evil,
order, turned against the order.
Yeah.
Killed by a member. Subdued by a member of the order. Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Valos is Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Saved by a larger, more evil force.
Emperor Palpatine.
Emperor Palpatine, Hermaeus. Yeah. Prisoner for ages. Grotesque
Darth Vader.
prisoner.
But again, Darth Vader doesn't quite have the will to get out of it. Darth Vader is just in his own sinking ship.
He was broken. Yeah.
Yeah, Darth Vader was
Maybe one day we'll make a Star Wars podcast. And Starcast.
There could be there could be something on the to-do list. I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that.
I think we've covered a lot of great points about him.
Yes.
How do you feel about what we've discussed?
Yeah. To be fair, what do you think? I would like to know what you think about Miraak in the end of Elder Scrolls. What do you think is in store for the Dragonborn? In store.
He will at most be at the very most will be a cameo in Elder Scrolls 6. You'll see him. At the very least, he'll be mentioned in a book. That's it. It's the running thing, isn't it? But I'm putting my money on seeing him because he's the most legendary character in the Elder Scrolls games now, without a doubt. That much is
it's pretty safe
without
to say
question.
that Elder Scrolls biggest game.
Yep, Skyrim.
That is the
Skyrim.
Because again, every Elder Scrolls game they've made has just. Again, this is what scares me, because they've really you've got like Arena. Some of them were bad, so it's okay, because we've had previous ones that did suck. So You know, so it's not like they've all progressively gotten better and better. But the three best ones we can pretty much decide on: Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Those are the ones where it's at. And I don't know if Morrowind won awards, but I know Oblivion and Skyrim did.
Yeah.
They knocked it out of the park with those games. Okay, ESO, that is... We're not going to even talk about that one. And then, so for the next Elder Scrolls game, we know it's going to be a while, we know it's going to be a minute. But I am just curious of where they go with this boat.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the sort of anticipation for Elder Scrolls 6 is what is the Dragonborn doing? You know, it's got to be covered. And of course,
I definitely think
the outcome of the Civil War.
Yeah, yes, but then at the same time, it does worry me a little bit because again, every Elder Scrolls game they make, it's not close, it's not related.
No,
it's not related.
But there are mentions
to the previous one. Yeah, there's, which does worry me because they've really set themselves up that they could go in multiple directions with this, and it does scare me. Obviously,
what?
Nothing.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, got Todd Howard on display.
We love him because he cares. I like to think he cares.
Yes.
But again, I think he just gets a bit lost in the sauce. He gets a little bit sideswept with these ideas, with these concepts that he has in mind. And again, with every game that comes out, the demand graphically to make it sound, to make it work, there's always more features, more things to implement, more things games need to keep it current, to keep it trendy, to keep it attractive, to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And again, more and more games keep coming out where, again, so much emphasis on the graphics, so much emphasis on making it look realistic, making it look visually impressive, that the gameplay, that the features, the things you can do are just getting smaller and smaller. And that does worry me. Because
Player freedom.
Yeah, because I really hope that we don't get to the next Elder Scrolls game and you can just cast like one spell, you've got like a sword and an axe, you can't choose anything else.
It won't come to that.
No, I really don't think it will, but it does worry me because I really hope they don't just get too caught up. Again, like what they do all the time. They get so caught up in trying to make all these things a reality that they just get so over-ambitious. And it does worry me because again, like I've got to say, maybe I should give more credit to ESO because I feel like that game was a bit backwards in that way. Like the gameplay wise, graphically, it was
Yeah, it was good.
But then gameplay wise, story wise, lore wise, it was rich.
Yeah,
it was rich, and
without a doubt it was.
And that's what I liked about that. But gameplay wise, enemy wise, it was
Pay to win wise,
I thought it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because again, lore wise, so rich. Like books, the characters you got to meet, it was a huge map. I loved that. But it was just a shame that the game was just a little bit naff.
Little bit is being
Generous.
very
Yeah.
very light.
So I just hope in the next Elder Scrolls game they really just but again, even with the Oblivion Master that's come out, I'm staying hopeful. I always will because again, there's no Todd anymore, but I trust in Todd. Even though he might tell porkies every now and again, even though he might,
either way,
his
the Dragonborn
I think his
is going
heart's
to be
in
in
the right
Elder
place.
Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
In a way, one way or the other. You know what I mean?
If not,
and Miraak will be mentioned.
If not, I hope Todd Howard does what he did in Oblivion.
Without doubt.
And he makes a cameo I want Todd Howard to be a cameo in it. I want Todd Howard to have some dialogue.
Why can't he
lines.
be in it? Great.
Yeah, why can't Todd Howard be Dragonborn?
Because he already is Dragonborn. He doesn't need to be Dragonborn in the game. He is Dragonborn. All right, guys. Are you happy with what we said?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any more topics you want to speak upon.
In terms of Miraak, you know, he's just
Yeah, I've kind of
a
waffled on the
dark,
sidelines a bit.
foreboding, dark mirror for the Dragonborn.
But I really do
Corrupt
hope...
character. A scary character.
Yeah.
Very smart one. Powerful. Very admirable character. Very cool. Can harvest weapons that no other man in Elder Scrolls history ever have. You know, the dragon aspect shout, the Ben Will shout. It makes him who he is. It
makes it insanely powerful.
Yeah. Well, there we are.
But I've got to say, if Dragonborn is in the next game, God forbid, who knows?
I'd love that.
I would like to see him being influenced by Miraak to some degree.
Yeah, so-
because I would absolutely love that. Because Miraak, as a villain, holds a special place in my heart.
Me too.
Holds a very special place.
Got him right here, tattooed on my arm.
And if that doesn't say it, I don't know what else does.
All right, guys. You all right with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Right.
look, thanks very much for tuning in.
Yeah.
We'll have a little think, and we'll come back for you next week with another Elder Cast. Thanks very much for watching.
Take care.
Take care. See you soon.